Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Premier Perspective. Today we are here with Niko and JD to talk about the Europa League games. Niko being an Arsenal fan and JD being a United fan. We got two people here to talk about their respective teams in the quarterfinals, for us to give our predictions. First matchup that we're talking about, Granada versus United. Now, JD, I know this is your team here, Man United. I think that this should be a walk in the park for them, but you never know when it comes to United.
I think going into the draw, I was hoping for either Granada or Slavia Prague, which Arsenal ended up getting. I think we finally got a lucky draw. We finally got an easy draw against Granada. Granada, who just lost 3-0 to Villarreal, who's also on the other side of the bracket. I think we should be fine. But then again, I've said that many times before. I said it against Leipzig in the Champions League, and we all know how that ended up. But I think
that was a good team, man. That Leipzig team.
Yeah, for them to just get absolutely annihilated by Liverpool in the next round.
Yeah.
I think tactically, Ollie got the whole Leipzig game wrong, but that's a whole different subject. But against Granada, if we don't win, questions need to be asked about Ollie. Another cup that we're going to lose. Hopefully, we get into the semifinal, but I'm confident about winning the whole thing.
I mean, I think United, if you look at the draw, we're going to talk about the next game. United play the winner of Roma versus Ajax, and those are two good teams. Questions can be made at that point of the tournament. I think they should be good to, pass to the semis, but you never know what could happen with United. But next up,
Roma.
Ajax versus Roma, it's a good game.
It's probably the best game in the whole draw so far.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I think Ajax is a good team that's always capable of putting good performances, as we saw back in 2 years ago with their Champions League performance. And Roma's also a great team, quality. I have a slight favoritism towards Ajax. I think Ajax has like a slight advantage over Roma, but this is, I feel like, a tie that can go either direction.
Yeah, that one, it's going to be a really interesting game, especially because Ajax, even though they've because the thing with them is they have a really talented team one year, and then all the other big teams around the world realize they're star players and then buy them up. And then they're always good the next year, but they're just not that full strength. They're not that Ziyech and the Frankie de Jong, and at one point the De Ligt. They still have Onana. Oh, but he's out, right? He's out on that drug charge.
Doping charges, a year.
That's insane. But they still have a solid team, and to be at this point, they're always real high. I haven't followed Eredivisie this year, but I can probably assure you that they're top of that. So that'll be interesting. Roma haven't, been at the top of that Italian league chain in recent times, but also like a really challenging team. Moving on to the next one, Niko, Arsenal, Slavia Prague. Slavia Prague overcoming Leicester in the last one. Was it Leicester or was it Rangers?
No, I think it was Rangers. It was Rangers. Leicester before that, I believe.
So they've got past Leicester and Rangers so far, and both really strong teams this season. Steven Gerrard's got them undefeated in the Scottish League.
Yeah.
And Leicester, we all know how great they've been this season in the Prem. So, Niko, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, looking back at the Rangers versus Slavia Prague game, looking at Slavia Prague, they weren't impressing me too much. I do believe Rangers just did an extremely poor match. But looking at Arsenal now, Arsenal of course, they're extremely inconsistent. JD's like laughing about them, right? He's laughing at me. But, I mean, it really comes down to if two players are able to play, Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka. I mean, those two just bring a completely different energy to the team, something that we were definitely missing against Liverpool. That Liverpool match, I think that was probably the worst match we've played since December. I'm being genuinely honest.
Boring, really underwhelming.
Not just boring, extremely uninspired. Like we didn't. Yes. We went out there from the first minute. I can tell. From the first minute, I could tell we were playing for the draw. We were playing to get something out the match, just a point. We should be going out there to win because we saw how we can perform against Spurs. You know what I mean? Like we can play extremely brilliant and beautiful football. But then we go out there against Liverpool and we completely we look like we're just fighting for relegation out there. We were seeing like 11 behind the ball. You know what I mean? Lack of creativity in the midfield. And, Danny Ceballos, he had a horrible match. An
Yeah, it
absolutely
was a rough
dreadful
time
match.
for him. Mhm.
Thomas Partey, again, he's a player that can win the ball back and he's extremely composed on the ball, but he's not going to create that creative pass that breaks down lines. So that's one thing that Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka can do. Pepe, again, just looked horrible. He looked uncomposed. Looked like he honestly didn't want to be there. But I believe if that first leg against Slavia Prague, we're going to have a statement, a massive statement. Hopefully Bukayo Saka and Smith Rowe can play. Hopefully Aubameyang can kind of find himself again because he is a class player. We know he is a class player, but he's been in horrible form recently. Lacazette's been in good form, so hopefully he can continue that. And I do believe, obviously, I'm gonna back my team here, but I think Slavia Prague can definitely give us problems, though.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's going to be a problem, but Arsenal could definitely overcome it, especially with the talent they have and their performances that they can put in. And a Slavia Prague team that can be a bit discombobulated at times, and they're not playing consistent competition as Arsenal is in the Prem, despite Arsenal not always performing against that.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see the way that game pans out. First leg is at home for Arsenal, so definitely important for them to take advantage of that first game, give themselves a comfortable lead so they can be comfortable. They could be good going into that second leg. But next up, we have Villarreal versus Dinamo Zagreb. Another draw that I feel like is pretty favored in one direction. I feel like Villarreal should have no issue at this point. They've been good throughout Europa League. They've been decent domestically. They have a good squad, coached right now by Unai Emery, former Arsenal coach, and he's known for doing good in the Europa League. So you never know. Villarreal could be the dark horse of the tournament. But now that we're going through these 4 games, we're looking at United probably going through playing a Roma or Ajax. That's pretty 50-50 who's going to go there. And then what should be Arsenal versus Villarreal. Now, at this point of the tournament, JD, as a United fan playing either Roma or Ajax in the next round, who would you rather play? And even if you were to play the other, do you feel United should be comfortable enough to go to the final?
I would rather play Ajax, but I think Roma is just going to go through pretty easily. Ajax hasn't been the same. That was Ziyech and Donny van de Beek in the summer. So I think Roma should go through. And United, I have faith in my boys. With Pogba, Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, all on form, Shaw, we're favorites for the whole tournament, and I think we're going to win the whole tournament. Personally, I think Arsenal's going to make it through, but then Villarreal is also going to make it through, and they're going to knock out Arsenal. Unai Emery is going to do a masterclass at the Emirates, and then United's going to beat Villarreal in the final, obviously.
All right. I mean, I know on the other side with Niko, you're going to back yourself against Villarreal in a semifinal, right?
Of course, I'm going to back ourselves, especially going against our former manager, someone who kind of led us to, uninspired, football. But of course, he is a great manager. We've seen time again. He did at PSG. He is a class manager, and he has done incredible things with the Villarreal team. But of course, I'm going to back Arsenal on this one if we do are to face Villarreal.
Yeah, I mean, as a mutual in this, because there's no team that I support in the Europa League. As a fan of the Premier League, I would definitely love to see a Manchester United versus Arsenal final. I think
that would be great to see.
That would be such a great game to watch. I would be favoring Arsenal because I'm a City fan, so I wouldn't be cheering for United. But I will say that I do believe United are favorites no matter who they play. I think no matter what the outcome is in the quarterfinal, semifinal, final, I still think they're favorites.
I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
So, I mean, Arsenal or Villarreal could give them a problem in the potential final. You never know. Maybe even Slavia Prague or Dinamo Zagreb could make it. But man, I don't really see I don't see a situation where United doesn't win the Europa League. But that's if they're on
Neither
par.
do I.
You never know what can happen.
Yeah, me personally, I see United and Ajax going through the semis on one side, and on the other, I see Arsenal Villarreal. I see Villarreal beating Arsenal, United beating Ajax, and then at that point, Villarreal United final, and I'm pretty sure United would win that as well. Yeah, I have no problem saying that. Europa League, they're a great team. United has been this season, inconsistent, but the reason I don't put Arsenal through over Villarreal is just, or even say they were to beat Villarreal against United, it's just the inconsistency, and as Nico said earlier, the lack of inspiration. I mean, in that Liverpool game, I think that's really a story of their season. Just so uninspired, and like they just didn't care, and they weren't playing to win. They were just kind of there because they had to be. And that's not going to win you much of anything, and especially against other teams from the other leagues that really want it. Granada is definitely going to give United a problem because all the La Liga teams are very high pressure and they're always on. So it's going to be tough for both Dinamo Zagreb and United to play teams from La Liga, especially talented teams at that. But Arsenal just could not fare against that. United will because of how strong they can be, but Arsenal, no way for me.
Another thing too, if you think about it, if Arsenal do end up making it to the final and playing United, as much as you want to say that game would be in United's favor, I would say that it's easily a 50-50 game at that point. It's one leg at a neutral venue. We saw last year Arsenal surprisingly beat City in the FA Cup semifinal and then beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final. So those were two good teams, probably at that point, two teams that were better than them, and they defeated them in one leg matches. So either direction,
but
I still think United is gonna win, but you genuinely never know, especially when it comes to European football.
In the past years, United versus Arsenal has been in Arsenal's favor in the past few years. So I think if it was a final, it would be tricky, but I still have faith in the United boys. United and Arsenal this season just aren't comparable. One's a midfield club, one's a top 4 team.
No, because this is a transitional year for Arsenal. We're seeing, a lot of old faces, not even really old, but aging faces like Aubameyang, Lacazette. They're being outshined by players like Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka. And I think if you're Mikel Arteta, you have to keep putting more faith into these young players because when we do play these young players, they're exceptional. We get results. But then we have to play against Liverpool with our aging players, and it's just uninspired. They feel safe that, I'm going to be the first player on this. I'm going to be the first name on the team. You know what I mean?
Cheeky little Willian on the right wing.
No. Disappointment, man. Disappointment.
Yeah. But
he bagged 3 assists and just dipped. He bagged 3 assists and dipped.
But that pretty much wraps up our opinions on this Europa League matchups. Obviously, when the games do get played, we will have some recap videos on that. So once again, we want to say thank you to anyone who's shown support so far throughout the channel. We want to thank Niko and JD for coming on today. And we'll see you guys soon.